I thought we'd all get to stand together and I'd have some support. I am a double diamond. I joined, sorry, I'm nervous, last December on the 9th. We'll back up a little bit. I'm a mom of 3. I homeschool now all 3 of them. At the time, it was just the 2 oldest ones. Very busy life. My husband worked out of town as a subcontractor, and he was gone anywhere from 4 to 7 days a week. So I was basically a single mom, raising 3 kids and homeschooling. Met a person that was an acquaintance of mine at church, and she was doing wraps. I thought it was the biggest diet scam that ever came on the face of the earth, and I rolled my eyes and didn't want to hear anything about it. At the same time, I knew that I desperately needed money. 2012 posed a very difficult year. We lost our only car to getting repossessed early that year. Just so happened my mother-in-law bought another car for herself, and instead of trading in the old one, she let us use it. So we had a loaner car. It was nothing fancy. The overhead things were all ripped out, and we didn't have a radio or anything like that. So I knew that God's calling on my life was to homeschool my kids, and I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be, but I didn't understand what we were going through, the financial situations that we were. Later that year, right after we got the car repossessed, my husband had a head-on collision in Arkansas while he was on the job and tore both rotator cuffs in his arm. So he was out of a job for several weeks. Knowing that we couldn't pay the bills, he had to go back to work hurt just to provide for our family. He worked the rest of the year that way. At the same time, nobody knew what kind of financial situation we were in except for my mother-in-law and father-in-law, because they had given us the car. Everybody else just assumed that we sold everything that we had except for our house because we couldn't afford another payment, and we knew that God called me to be home. So we hid it very, very well. Later that year, we found ourselves in foreclosure from the bank that I worked for 5.5 years. It was very embarrassing. Thank you. Very embarrassing. I live in a very, very small town where everybody knows your business before you do. So there was a lot of people that knew what was going on that shouldn't have. And that was very hard. I actually tried to go look for the foreclosure letter the other day because Joel and Stephanie Dunn used to go to free food places, and they still have their menus. And I told my husband I want to find that letter because I know it's in my house somewhere. I've buried it because I want that to always be a remembrance of where we've come from. So I met Rachel at church, and I started asking around people that I knew she had wrapped. I was actually in the process of posting in an online Facebook yard sale group a lot of sentimental things to my family, just trying to get some money to pay my house payment. I had 2 weeks grace period to make a house payment, or we were going to be in foreclosure to where I couldn't save my house. And there again, nobody knew what we were going through, and we wouldn't ask for any money. The same day that I was posting my baby's cradle and things like that, the waterman came to my house and pulled in my driveway to shut my water off. And I had to beg him not to because my husband wasn't home, and I was like, please, I will have money Friday. Please just don't shut it off because I don't have anybody to give me money. So he graciously let me keep my water for a few more days. That same month, I had electric assistance for November and December, but January was quickly coming, and electric assistance is income-based, and they only give you so much. So I knew that my December bill, I was going to have to owe something. At the same time, my kids had no idea, so they were asking for things like Xboxes and DSs and iPads and things that I knew would never be an option, and I didn't even have $15 to make 3 stockings. There was no way. I didn't know what we were going to do. I saw the same day I posted my cradle and things like that Rachel posted she was going to town to sell wraps. This is when it was okay to post in yard sale groups. Don't do that. It's not okay anymore, but at the time it was okay, and I'm thankful it was. I friended her on Facebook, and I saw on her Facebook page where it was public that she made $200 that day. And here I am thinking it's the biggest diet scam. I went ahead and messaged her. And I said, look, I've done this 3 times before. I've been with 3 other network marketing companies, and I've paid hundreds of dollars that I didn't have. How do you make money? How did you just make that cash? What did you put into it? And she told me. And I said, if I never got a customer or distributor, would I ever be able to make money? And she said, yeah, I'll just wrap people. And I said, how much does it cost? And she said, $99. And I said, there's no way. There's no way I have $99. And she said, I'll let you join for free. And I was like, how do you do that? And she said, you need to go find 4 people that will buy a wrap from you today. And she was like, you can buy your kit. And she was just getting started, and she had an extra box of wraps, and she loaned me her 4 wraps up front, and I gave her my 4 back when my kit came in. And I prayed, and I got off the computer, and my husband was still out of town, had no idea what was going on. I prayed, and I just said, Lord, just if this is it, just let the people come to me. And within 45 minutes, I had my 4 people. 3 days later, we had my launch party. 3 of my 4 signed up as loyal customers, and the 4th one signed up as a loyal customer in January, about 3 weeks later. I absolutely ran with this business. I did not wait for a kit to come. I had no blitz cards. I had no money for anything. I didn't even have wraps. I had me, and that was it. So don't think that because you don't have a kit, don't think because you don't have money for blitz cards, you don't have wraps, you don't have product. You have yourself, and you have Facebook. And I booked 7 parties, I think, the first week, and I had no wraps. And I was like, talking to Rachel, I was like, I have no idea how I'm even going to get these wraps. I can't afford them. Well, I had every single person to prepay for their wraps. I got my profit up front. And I did not let anybody know that I didn't have money. I made it a business decision, and I said, look, I'm just getting started. I don't have enough inventory. Is there any way that everybody can pay for their wraps, and I will have them at your party? And it worked, and I just brought it back to the fact of you pay for Mary Kay up front, you pay for 31, you pay for Pampered Chef, you pay for all of these things up front, and then you get your product. Why should this be any different? So I got nervous about the auto ship, and Rachel said, how much is your auto ship? And I figured it up, 5 wrap sales would cover the auto ship. So the first party I did, I put the whole $125 back in my drawer, and I hid it, and that paid for my auto ship in January. I have honestly run my business completely free from day one. I have never put a penny into a box of wraps with any outside money. It Works money has always paid for It Works things. I've never put a penny in my business. I've completely run it for free. Not only did I get to pay my house payment by Christmas, I was able to pay enough for my kids to have a small Christmas, and they knew they were none the wiser. We paid the utilities, got ourselves on track. Within my 3rd month, I was making over $1,000 a month because I busted my butt, and I talked to every person that I knew, and I did not let a no stop me. Lots of people have told me no, and those same people that told me no have come back and either joined my team or become a customer, or I've wrapped them. So I made my hundreds list out of my memory jogger, and probably 85% of those people within my first 3 months were wrapped, or somebody in their family was. Even my oil change repairman, I was like, why would I put his name on this list? And I found somebody in his family, and I've wrapped them. We have had such a huge explosion of success, and so many people have inspired me. Mel and Blair are amazing. Before the new year, Mel and Melinda and Susie came to Jamestown, little bitty town that I live in, and did a training for us because we were growing so quickly. Nobody knew my financial situation until that night, and I just broke down. And Blair, at a later meeting, asked me what I would do with $10,000 a month, and I literally laughed. That mark is not going to be far away from me and my family right now, but Mel is an amazing person. She listens to what God tells her to do, and because of her and God's relationship, I was able to go to conference in January with a paid-for ticket to just the event, and the hotel, gas, food, and everything else was paid for with wrap sales. I went for less than $200 out of my own pocket, well, wrap sale money. But I'm telling you, if I did not go to conference, I guarantee you I would not be standing here today, because as soon as my parties slowed down, as soon as everything stopped being the new it thing and people started finding out about it, I guarantee you I would have quit, because I would have had to go to work or find something else. I was looking for third shift jobs for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just so my husband could watch the kids and I could go work while he was home, because that was our only other option. 6 months into this business, I was able to retire him. He is now home. So, thank you. He's home. We're both full-time home parents. That's been an adjustment because I'm used to being there by myself. But I want you two to know that I look for you, because you homeschool and your marriage is so strong and you build your business together. And Amanda, I look to you because you are amazing at what you do, and you've given me so many good pointers and been on the phone with me for so long sometimes because I need it. And Susan, we started about a month away from each other, but we actually have a funny story. When we started, she would post really good things on Facebook, and I would use them. And she messaged me, she's like, maybe come up with your own words. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, and so, yeah, it was a bad situation that actually turned us into being extremely good friends. She's one of my dear friends in this business now, and we have just come to love each other so much. And I can honestly say that the majority of my best friends in life are It Works family. And these type of things really, really make me happy to come to. And I try not to miss them, because these people are so important to me. And I know they're important to all of you as well, because none of us would be in this room if Melody had not said yes. And that's just it. And I look at my team, and if I wouldn't have said yes, counting loyal customers, there's been thousands of lives that have been changed, and they're going to be tens of thousands more, because this is all I'm going to do. So we're here for the long haul. But I want you all to know that don't let somebody that comes to you and says, I don't have the money, don't overlook them, because there's greatness that lies within them, and you just need to bring it out. Because I hit it with a smile, and it took me a very long time to believe in myself. And I knew I could do it, because I'm a red. So I knew that the money was there, and I knew that I could do it. But I had to use my brain a little bit and think and find new ways to make this business work. And it works. And you just have to help somebody that needs it. Because if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to try your wrap, but I don't have $25, I don't say, oh, come to me when you get paid. I say, let me help you figure out a way to make money. Are you interested? Will you work? And if they say yes, then we work. And they might work slow and they might work fast, but we work. I never overlook an opportunity to help somebody, because I get little bits and pieces from each person that's a leader in this company, and it's all been cumulative of what I can do, and it's because of each little person helping and pouring back into me, and they don't even know it. So I'm sure, I don't know if I'm up or not, but I can't I can't go anymore. But thank you guys so much. But I just want to share.
Oh, wow. Okay, for the next ones, y'all coming up here, I got tissues for y'all. Okay, so thank you to Pat. I think Pat gave those to me or whatever. Thank you, Nikki. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Susan. She's one of the most giving people in this company now. It's just a matter of learning, that's all it is. So, okay, so the next person I want to bring up is another gal that from the same town as Nikki. She is actually Nikki's sponsor, and this gal, just a sweet, sweet spirit. I love her. She is a go-getter, and she's tearing this thing up, and she is triple diamond Rachel Simons. Y'all hear it. 10
Okay, well, I am really nervous, and I'm usually not nervous to talk in front of people at all. If you ask my team, I go on and on. But all you guys sitting out here, you guys are all like in your black, green, and bling, and you're all excited, and we've got like some powerhouse heavy hitters, and we're learning so much, and I'm really nervous now. So I joined It Works a year ago on November the 12th, so I just had my 1-year anniversary this week. And when I started, I thought that our little phrase, "give us a year, we'll change your life," was the corniest thing in the world. I promised I was never going to say that to somebody because I knew they would laugh me out of wherever I was talking to them. And a year later, my life is completely different. I moved from Michigan to Tennessee in August of 2 years ago. I have been in corporate banking for about 6 years, made a really good salary, was working between 60, 70 hours a week. Very high stress job. I'm a yellow. I went into banking because I didn't have the money to go to nursing school and I wanted to help people. And I thought banking would help people with their finances. I didn't realize it was sales. So when we moved, I really did not want to go back into banking. My intention was to go back to school. My fiance is a veteran, and I was going to go to school for nursing. We were going to get married and all this great plans and all that stuff. We ended up flat broke. After about a year, we had lived with his family, and we got our own place. He had a pretty good job. It's one of the more stable jobs around the Jamestown area. And his hours were cut the week that we moved out. Everything in the house broke, washer, dryer, air conditioner, refrigerator, and I had $20 in my pocket. It wasn't even my money, it was his money, and that was supposed to buy groceries. 'Cause mind you, we just moved, so we moved with nothing. I was supposed to buy groceries and pay bills that month, and it wasn't happening. So I started looking back into banking. If you guys know like the Jamestown area, there are no jobs. It's really, really hard to find a job there. No banks were going to hire me. They straight up told me, "Hey, you're not from here, you don't talk like us, and we don't think you're going to be a good fit with our customers." So that was like a no-go for me. I started looking into waitressing jobs. I'm a terrible waitress. I've done it before. I'm the one who takes your plate as soon as you like stop for 5 seconds. I'm like, "Oh, you're done. Go on." So that's not my gig. Couldn't even get a job as a waitress. Ended up seeing a handwritten sign at Dollar General saying they were hiring part-time. And I honestly was like thinking in the back of my head, well, I really don't want to have to do that. I've been in banking, you know, I'm a halfway through college dropout, so I don't want to work at Dollar General. But $200 a month would have really made a big impact in our finances. So I got an application. The day that I was about to go turn that application back in, some friends from church had started asking me, they'd heard about these wraps out in Knoxville, Nashville, and they knew that I had used them before, because I'd actually used the products for about a year. Obviously, I knew they worked, so I told them, yes, they work. You know, I'll see if I can get in touch with somebody just to find and set you up and get you a party or something like that and get you more information. I don't want anything to do with it, but I'll be there and support you. Started looking around Facebook, and through the grapevine, I ended up finding Mel. No idea who she was, mind you. Like, no idea. So I called her up, and I'm like, "Hey, I've got a couple friends who want to try these crazy wraps, and I see that you do them. We live in Jamestown, Tennessee, and there's like nobody here, but I might be able to get a few people together if, you know, you could send somebody our way." She's like, "No, I'll come." I was like, "Oh, okay." Then I found out she's the first ambassador ever, and yeah. 3 people showed up to my party. 2 of them rapped. Melody drove like 2.5 hours to come do that party for me. No reason for her to ever contact me back. I mean, and just being honest, in my first year in the business, if I had done a party with 3 people and had very little success out of it, I probably would not contact that hostess back after 3 days to check on her rap. After that, I'd be done. But Mel kept in touch with me. She called me up a few times and just, you know, kept tabs on me and just asked why I wasn't doing this business myself. I gave her all the reasons in the book. I don't want to do sales. I've done network marketing before. I've lost all this kinds of money and spent all this kinds of time and da-da-da-da-da. She's like, "Okay." just pray about it. So I prayed, and more people were asking me at church. It just seemed to keep coming up. So I sat down one day and I got really honest, and I said, God, I don't want to do this. You know my heart. I want to be a nurse. I want to help people, da-da-da-da-da. I don't want to sell anything anymore. I don't want to do this. But if you want me to, make it black and white, and I'll follow where you show me. The next day, Melody called me, and she's like, you are just on my heart, and I can't stop thinking about you. I really think that you need to give this another consideration. Can we pray? And I was like, all right, God. You got me into this business. You better help me build it, because I don't know anybody, and I'm not from here. Our entire county has like 15,000 people. That's it. And they thought I was this crazy Yankee girl coming to take $25 from them for some skinny sticker that's not going to do anything, and it's a gimmick, and it's this and that. And people were starting to, like, talk about me. And I'm really oblivious to that kind of stuff. I never know, but Nikki has shared with me later on. But I was extremely, extremely blessed. And Nikki was one of my very first distributors, and she is my first spark. She's my rock star. So we got to do this business together and start together and grow together, and we are like best friends now. We're inseparable. And just for me watching, because I didn't know her story when I first started. Obviously, we're friends now, and I've known for a while because we talk about it all the time. But when she shared that would be enough for me to keep doing this business. And in a year, I know for a fact that we have helped at least 5 families get out of foreclosure and off of welfare for something that I didn't want to do. Not only that, I can tell you guys about all the stuff we've paid off, all the new stuff that we've gotten, all the crazy opportunities we have now, but that's not what's important to me. In this business, because I've stuck with it, and even though it got hard and I had a slump and it went dry for a little bit, I just never quit. I've become a better person. So that give us a year, it'll change your life. It'll change the trappings of your life. You'll have all kinds of cool stuff. Your income will grow. It definitely will. There's no way it won't as long as you're opening your mouth. But it's going to make you a different human being, because this is such an amazing company with such an amazing product line and such incredible, wholesome, godly people at the top all the way through, that the more you're around them and the more that you're involved in our culture, the more they push you to become better, the more they push you to care more. And if you hear Pam Souter talk, she always says, get over yourself. It's not about you. And it's not. My very first aha moment was when I was going to a gas station I go to a lot of the time, and I usually blitz all the clerks. I didn't blitz this girl. I heard her talking about how she just had a baby and she was broke, and she didn't like her job there. She wasn't making very good money. She was working the night shift. And I didn't blitz her. I got really nervous, and I'm a really creepy, awkward blitzer anyway. So if you guys out there are like, I feel so creepy blitzing, or I feel like awkward, please find me on Facebook or something. I can tell you some stories, and I'm still here, and I'm triple diamond, so it's okay. But I walked out of there, and I was like, what did I just do? I just made a decision for somebody. Didn't give her the choice to make a decision for herself. I said, no, I know you and your life better than you know you and your life, and I just know you don't want to do this, so I didn't give her a card. How do I know that that person doesn't have a story like Nikki? How do I know who they are? You have a responsibility, because the Lord has put this business in your lap. One way or another, you're here for a reason. You have a responsibility to open your mouth. It doesn't matter what you say. Trust me, I have word vomited all over people. I have stumbled. I have really creepy blitzing stories. But you can't, I do, ask my team, it's not a joke. But like, I mean, if you're here where you are now, it's your responsibility to open your mouth. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. If they tell you no, Pam says it, they don't like mustard. If they tell you no, who cares? Are you going to go have dinner with them that night? I don't know, probably not if they're a stranger. If it's your friend that's telling you no, you're going to keep asking until they say yes. And that's one thing, like, I've been so blessed with such an incredible team that I learn from them every single day. And not like Nikki and I don't get to talk to each other enough as it is, but we were driving here, not together, but we're on the phone as we're driving, talking for about an hour and a half. And she said one thing that I want to share with you guys. She's had a couple new distributors come in who have just felt like they don't want to talk to people. They're afraid of rejection, or they're just afraid in general of approaching people. So she talked to them a little bit and just, found out about their life, asked them questions about their family, what they do, what they like to do for fun, where they work at. And it came up that one of them is a bartender. So she's like, okay, so when somebody tells you no, they don't want another drink, do you go run off in the corner and cry? Because they said no. And the girl actually said, I don't take no for an answer with drinks. I just walk over and I say, oh, you're ready for another one. And Nikki's like, okay, so you assume the sale. She's like, yeah, I guess so. He's like, could you do the same thing with wraps? She's like, yeah. Had the same conversation with another person who was a server, a waiter. When you ask somebody if they want more coffee and they say no, do you go and cry? No, they just don't want more coffee. Why is it any different for what we do? It's not. And if you get over that fear that you have of somebody looking at you and telling you no, I've been told all kinds of stuff. I've been asked if I'm calling people fat. I've been called fat. I've been told, you need to dress better to do this or something. And I'm like, well, okay, peace. But I don't let that stop me. I'm still out there every single day. And then if I'm not blitzing outside, I'm blitzing on Facebook. If I'm not on Facebook, I'm texting, I'm Instagramming, I'm doing something. One thing I've told my team a million times over, and then I started hearing it a whole bunch at St. Louis Boot Camp, and I wanted to coin the phrase, but I didn't coin it. Consistency, simplicity, and prayer. That's what my business runs on. That's what's worked for me from day one. Our company gives us incredible systems. We have a party pad, Steps to Success. It's easy. Keep it simple, do it every day, and leave the rest to God. God bless you guys, and I can't wait to see all of you at conference.
Oh my goodness. You know what I love about Nikki and Rachel is that when they went to conference last year, or this year, gosh, it just seems like so long ago, they, instead of going to bed and sleeping, they sought out leaders. And they were like little leeches, and they just grabbed onto these leaders, and they go, tell us what you did. Share with us what you did. And these gals loved on Rachel and Nikki and said, I love them. They're so hungry for the information. So don't be afraid to go up to some of the leaders in the company and say, tell me your secrets. Tell me what you did. These girls did that, and they continue to do that today. They glean from every single person that they can, and then they share it with their team. So, I mean, gosh, you guys, you can do that. All right, next person I want to bring up just moved back to this area. I'm so excited. She was in Memphis for a while, and just love this gal. She's full of energy. People love her wherever they meet her. They just, you just can't help but fall in love. Y'all, please welcome Felicia Porter, Diamond Distributor. 10 minutes.
I know. Oh my goodness. Well, she had me come up and talk. I'm so nervous. But I'm going to go through my story like in fast forward mode. But my name is Felicia Porter, and I now live here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I've been in the business now for about 4 years, and I just want to say, you see me standing in front of you, and it's by God's mercy that I am still here, and I am still building this business. So if I can do it, you definitely can do it. My story started in June of 09. I had a friend, Lanice Philalam, and she was here. I'm not sure if she's still here, that, Lanice does every business that she probably runs into. And I had not done network marketing before. So she called and, introduced the opportunity to me. And I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. So I had actually been praying about, because, I had gone to school to be a registered nurse. And, but nursing is cool, but I just didn't like that clock in, that robotic, got to be at work at a certain time. You can't be late. I'm blue. I don't have time for that. Uh, so it's like, to make money, I had to be there. I had to clock in. I'm there 12 hours. I'm tired. You leave. It's the same thing. So it wasn't that, if I didn't go, you didn't make money. So I was looking for something to do on the side where I was like, look, I wanted to do jewelry, but didn't know network marketing. But it's like, it would be nice to make money and not physically always have to be in a location. So this same year, the It Works came about, came across my path. And I have been, in this business since all the family members that I have, especially Melanie and Tina Hatcliffe. Lord, what would I do without those ladies? When I started, I didn't have a lot of money. I mean, even though I was a nurse, people think we make big money. We don't. Do we, Susan? We don't make money. So it's paycheck to paycheck. I have 4 children. So when I started building this business, I didn't have like a big dream, like 10 grand or 5 grand. I just wanted to make a couple $100. And, when I got into the business, it started to grow pretty fast, even though we didn't have Blitz cards and all this cute stuff you guys have now. But it started to grow fast. The extra cash was awesome. But as I started to go through this business, life happened. And, it's like when life happened, you want to put the business on hold and deal with life. And as I gone through the business, I noticed that life kept happening. Everything, divorce, children, job loss. As a nurse, I worked for an insurance company, lost that job. Death, my brother died. Just everything, husband and, repossession and, oh my God, eviction and all this stuff. And I truly can say the 2 constant things in my life would be, my faith in God, and number 2 is It Works. It Works can go with you anywhere. I had to, when those things happened, me and my husband separated on a Wednesday, my car got repossessed on a Thursday, and my brother passed away on a Friday. Friday evening, I was now living in Memphis with my mom, he was there with her. She couldn't live alone. So my life had positioned itself where it was easy for me to go there to be with her. And I can do wraps anywhere. So I go there. I've been there 3 years, rebuilt my life. And now it's time for me to come back here to Murfreesboro. And I'm back here in Murfreesboro. And 4 years later, I'm still holding on to It Works. Now, like she said, there's been valleys, mountains, hills to climb. And every time, you do it. You get up. I want to be depressed sometimes. Back then, I wanted to be depressed. I wanted to cry. I wanted to go under a rock. But then it's like, okay, cry, get over it, take 24 hours to do that, and then get back up. Seriously. Because what I decided, because I took off, I went diamond, and I decided, I'd take off because life had happened for 7 months from It Works. And the good thing that I can say about It Works is that I wasn't working at all. I wasn't getting on a call, any of that. And I was still having money deposited into my account. There's no job you can go and do that. You can't do that. You can't, be in your own world dealing with life while you're still, making money. So when I decided to come back, because I did the same thing, said I'm not doing that, those raps. And every time I would, it's like God would just, he'd be like, you're not leaving this. Somebody would call for raps. Somebody would call for product, and it'll be so right on time for babies' diapers, for grocery. There was a time I would go to the store, and I would have $10 that I'd have to figure out how I was going to feed these 4 kids for 1 week with $10. Now, going to the store, I go to Walmart. I'm not looking at the price. I put things in the cart, and when I get up there and they tell me the total, it's not like, ooh, this is going to bounce. It's like It Works gives me that backing, that residual income gives me that backing that I can write that check and know that it's going to clear. So if you have the thought, when you get in this 3 months, 5 months and say, oh, this is not working, it is working. Sometimes it's working. You can't see it. We have to plant those seeds. They're water, and then they grow. Sometimes that's not an instant thing. Sometimes people come in, they build really fast, and that's cool if that's your flow. And if that's the journey that God has for you. Some of us, we have to go through a process because it's not just about us and making the money. It's about something that God has for us. And he's strengthening you, and he's showing you who you are and who it is that you're becoming on your destiny, your journey. Some people's journey may be 2 years, some may be 5, some may be 10. But you'll never know what that end is if you give up. So if you stop working the business, you'll never know how far you can fly if you stop flapping your wings. So.
Whoa, love that. Okay, the last one that we're going to bring up today is another dear, dear friend of mine. In fact, we go back a long time ago, over 20 years ago. We were in a network marketing business. We were not in the same group. We were sidelined from each other, but we just connected mainly in the bathrooms at the conferences that we had, and we would always talk, and she was always having babies and kids and everything. And today she is a presidential diamond in my business. I love this girl with everything in me. Y'all please welcome Melinda Berryman, presidential diamond. I know.
I'm ready to cry before I even get started. Just listening to everybody's stories. I mean, how awesome is this? I mean, this is where it's at right here. It really is. I mean, you can learn all the numbers, all the figures, all the facts, and you know, if you don't have a big enough why and in your heart, you're not going to do it. Why should you get out? You know, make a phone call, talk to anybody, or blitz. I mean, you really do need to know why you're doing it. And I always say that your reasons or excuses why you don't want to do this are probably the very reasons why you need to do it, if you think about it. My excuses, I had been in another network marketing business, the same as, you know, my story is so similar to everybody's. I could just almost get up here and say ditto and be done. You know, but what I really want you to understand is it's a thread that keeps each and every one of us in this business connected to people. You know, it was a thread that kept me connected to Melody McFarland. We were in a business together 20 years ago, and it was not a good experience. I mean, we made great friends, we did, but as far as like really getting ahead in our life, and we put a lot of time and effort into it, and it didn't pan out. It was just pipe dreams. It really was. And so I did not want to do anything else like that. I've been a stay-at-home mom. I have 4 kids. That was my life. I mean, I'm happy just at home with my kids. I'm a yellow, and yes, I'm all about family, and even to this day, Melody can tell you, it's like, okay, I got to make sure that my kids are fed before I go to a party. You know, that's important to me. I take my son to school every morning, pick him up in the afternoon. My baby's 15, so that's my baby. But my daughter, my oldest one's 25. She's in the business with me. But it's a process that it was a thread that kept me in this. I don't even know, I know I'm rambling, but what I really want to share with you as far as, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I did want to ask, how many people have been doing this 3 years or more? Just raise your hand. 3 years or more. Just a couple of people. So you may not relate to me right now. You know, I've been doing this for a while. When we started, it was a totally different ball game. We didn't have all the things, the steps to success even. I mean, we barely even were starting to do diamond worksheets. Thank God for Tina Hackcliffe on a show or expo, show me how to chart my diamond. But you're going to want to keep these stories in mind when you're dealing with your team members that are going through things in their life, and maybe they're not jumping on board and going, you know, double diamond in 4 months. Like I had one of my girls after 3 years of me working this, you know, but you're going to have to love them where they're at and never give up on them, because if Melody had have given up on me, I wouldn't be here today. You know, same thing, like, I mean, with a thread that she held on to Rachel, and, you know, you got to connect with people and love people. And that really is what's important. And yeah, you know, you get paid well to do that, but honestly, when it gets in your heart, you're going to know that this is what, you know, God intended for you. But just quickly, Melody invited me to her very first rap party, and I could not go. I think we had just recently been diagnosed with a heart condition, me and 2 of my children. We had several months of testing and ended up having to get pacemaker defibrillators implanted. My son was 10 at the time, and I was, I don't know, 30-something. So, but it was a life, you know, that pulled the rug out. That was the beginning of the rug being pulled out from under my little, you know, happy life. You know, my husband's always worked and made good money, and I was blessed to be able to stay home with my kids, but that was, you know, medical bills piling up, even though we had insurance. I think the first year after all the tests and the surgeries that we had, we probably had $90,000 worth of medical bills left that we had to pay. And, you know, my husband was working as much as he possibly could. I mean, you know, you can only work so many hours a day. And had 2 kids getting ready to go to college. So I had to decide, you know, am I just going to sit back and whine about this? You know, we got to pay these bills, but we've got, you know, kids going to college. You know, what are you going to do about it? But I, like I said, I'm the kind of person, I would always sit and kind of ride along my husband's coattails. I'm not the get out and go getter type person, you know. But when I was faced with the challenges that we were faced with, I had to decide, you know, I guess that little saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And it was. This was like where the rubber hit the road, you know. So, and my kids were old enough, I felt comfortable, you know, maybe getting a job. So, yeah, that's the first thing you do, you look for a job, you know. I made jewelry on the side. I worked part-time at a bank. Do anything to do this business that Melody had asked me to do, you know, probably a year or 2 before that. So finally, I agreed to have a party for Melody. My first party, still didn't want to get involved, but I invited a couple of my friends that 2 of them actually did want to be distributors. So that was another rubber hits the road. It's like, okay, God, you know, I have to decide, do I want to do this or not? And I knew enough about network marketing that since it was my party, that they were, you know, going to have to get in under me. So I joined. And that's how I got started, just willy-nilly, didn't know what I was doing. But we just kind of took off, hit the, you know, pavement and went and blitzed salons, and we just did everything. We didn't know what we were doing, but we were doing something. And that's the key. If you'll just get out there and just do something, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter where you go, just get out there. Put this business out there, because it's true, there's so many people praying. And this is the thing, me and one of my best friends that joined with me in the beginning, we had literally sat on the phone. I was driving, I remember pulling the car over and crying and praying. We prayed together, you know, for God to just give us something. We needed something. We'd already been trying all this other stuff. And we knew about It Works at the time, but we just weren't focused on it. And, you know, it hit us. You know, God has given this to us. He's just like laying it right out there. Here's a Blitz card, right in your hand. But, you know, you got to be open to it. And just because some of the people that you're talking to right now, they might not be open to it right now, 6 months from now, they might be. Because a lot of things change in 6 months. So, you know, fast forward a couple years, met Terry Wood. She was my spark that I was probably a diamond at the time, ready to give up, okay? I think I'd been doing this. I was a diamond for a year. And you know, we all hit those lows. And it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? About that time, I think, was when a lot of people, I think maybe Amanda, some people were getting on Facebook and just really blowing it up and going crazy. And I was sitting here looking at myself thinking, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing right? What else do I need to be doing? And I got discouraged, and I would get upset with myself and kind of, you know, it slowed me down because I compared myself to other people. You know, my personality's not like hers, or you know, I can't talk to people like her, and I'm not a red or whatever. But, you know, Melody just shared with me that you're one Blitz card away from changing your life. in your business. And so I'm like Felicia, you know, you cry and you throw your pity party or whatever, and then, you know, you get out and you start blitzing. And the very next person that came into my business after that little funk that I was in was Terry Wood. And I'd been working on her for probably 2 years at least. She was my daughter's 6th grade school teacher. So, you know, hang in long enough to get some of these things coming back to you. You know, I know you're all new and you haven't probably even been hit with any challenges yet, but you will. And if you can just think in your mind, you know, think back, gosh, you know, she was hit with all these obstacles, and Nikki and all of us, everybody's hit with life, but it's what you do with it. I mean, we all are, and we can let it stop us or we can let it move us forward. But hang on by a thread, even if it is a thread, because I'm telling you, I barely am even standing here today, but by the grace of God in a thread. So hold on to your upline, your downline. If you connect with someone sideline, you know, grab a hold of them. Just, you know, be a student of this business and, you know, figure out what your why is and get that dream board out there and look at it every day. Get your kids involved. That's so important. You know, you just want your family to be involved and on board. Mine wasn't in the beginning, but I didn't let it stop me. It took me 4 years for my husband to really come on board with this. But I went out there every day, and sometimes literally leaving the driveway crying because, you know, I didn't want to. I wanted to be home with my family, but I knew I had to do it because we had a lot to pay off. So, you know, we've been blessed to pay off a lot of things, and, you know, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm going to get there.